Right, welcome everyone to our live class this evening, or I guess afternoon, depending on where you're located. Thank you so much for being here. Practice Better is so excited to co-host this event on converting your one-on-one content into Evergreen Group Programs with Sachin Patel. So thank you so much, Sachin, for being here. For everybody who's here, just a couple housekeeping items. This will be about an hour-long webinar. We are recording, so you can always revisit this content, or if you need to hop off early, it will be landing in your inboxes later tomorrow, likely. So keep an eye out for that. And we've got a lot of great content for you all. So I'm going to pass it off to Sachin. Feel free to drop your comments as we go through the content today. We love to hear your feedback, your questions, your engagement. It definitely keeps our energy up high. So Sachin, I'll let you take it away.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I'm so excited for our time today, and I will try to do my best to pack as much value into this presentation as I possibly can. But please know that we're going to be scratching the surface of the surface today. And what I'd love to get a sense of is how many of you are currently using group programs. So if you're currently using group programs, type in a 1. And if you're not using group programs and you're interested in learning how to implement them, then type in 0, just so I know who I'm speaking to and who's here today. Okay, wonderful. So there's no right or wrong answer. It just helps me in assessing where to start. So it looks like we have a lot of 0s. And those of you that are 1s, you're still going to get a lot of value because this will be a great opportunity for you to audit your program. But also, I'm here to learn. I'm forever a student. And so if there's something I can learn from you, then I'm also open to that as well. So feel free, for those of you who are veterans, who have a lot to offer and share, bring your value to the conversation and the dialogue as well. Okay, so we're going to go. I want to be respectful of everyone's time, and I'm going to recognize that this is being recorded, and you will get a playbook for today. So I'm going to drop that into the chat so all of you have that. So today's playbook is a really simple guide, and I will share with you what to do, what your next steps are. So you're going to come to a page that looks like this. You're going to quickly enter in your information, phone number, and then you'll hit submit. And then once you hit submit, it'll bring you to the playbook that we're going to be using today. And this will be a great reference for you to have. And this contains many different trainings. Today, our focus is going to be on creating group programs. So as you go through this, you'll see that there's 71 pages to this. We're going to be focusing primarily on the 7 steps of creating a hybrid group program. And that's where most of my attention is going to be. We'll jump around a little bit to a few different pages just to give you some frameworks to work with, but this is going to be our playbook that we're going to be working with today. So once you've got that downloaded, just go ahead and type in done in the chat. So once I see a bunch of those come in, then I'll know that we're ready to get started. And I'm going to switch up my screen here and go to my iPad. Okay, and if you're having any difficulties, I don't know why that would be the case. Looks like most people are not. Just try and copy the link and paste it into your browser and see if that does the trick. And if not, then follow along and be sure to download that at some point in the future. So as we go through this, what I want to draw your attention to is that we've got a bunch of different things that we can cover with the same playbook. And if you ever attend any of my future trainings, certainly we'll be using this playbook as well. I want to go through the essential practice assets. I want to go through some key frameworks for you to think about when you're developing your practice and developing your group programs. I want to share with you my home office setup so you can see digitally what I have going on and what my space looks like, in case you're wondering how my setup works. Because if you're doing group programs, chances are you're doing them virtually, and having the right setup to facilitate that can be very important for you. And then a lot of time is going to be spent on the 7 steps to create a hybrid group program. Okay, so I see most of you are able to access things, so we'll get right into this. Okay, All right. So let's go into the essential assets of creating your practice. So first and foremost, you have to have a deep understanding of your purpose. I've worked with over 500 practitioners and coached them, over the last 8 years. And what I've learned is that those that are achieving maximum levels of success and really leaning into uh, making the biggest impact that they possibly can all have a very deep sense of purpose. There's going to be 1,000 times, sometimes many times in a day, certainly over 1,000 times a year, where you're going to feel like throwing in the towel. And it's really important that you come back to this sense of purpose. And the purpose of having a group program is twofold. One, it allows you to be more leveraged. And two, it allows you to help more people, right? So that's my intention and purpose behind why we run a group program, is so that my impact is scalable and it can grow and be very leveraged. And I can help more people because, as we all know, there's no shortage of unfortunately sick people these days. So you have to have a deep sense of purpose. You want to check that off. You want to have a clearly defined problem you solve and who you solve it for. So when you're running a group program, you're consolidating a group of people together and bringing together a group of people who have a common problem that you're going to help them solve. So you really have to narrow down who this program is for, and we'll go through an exercise to do that. You want to also have a practice model that promotes your best lifestyle. This is crucially important because eventually you're going to realize that anyone can build a 7-figure cage. You want to build a 7-figure business that allows you to have autonomy in 5 different areas. So you want to write these 5 freedoms down. The first freedom is health freedom. Your practice should not rob you of your health. The second one is emotional freedom. What good is physical health if we don't have emotional health? The third freedom is time freedom. You want to spend your time doing the things you love with the people you love. And you want to spend as much of your time being as leveraged as you can be. And we'll talk about synchronistic ways to serve and asynchronistic ways to serve. The fourth freedom is geographic freedom. You could do what you do from anywhere. How great is that? And the last freedom is financial freedom. So you want a practice that promotes all 5 of those freedoms. And I believe this is the first time in human history where this is actually possible for us. You want to have at least a 1-page website, a bio that's updated, which has all the cool things that you do and about you, a very clear customer journey. Okay, Candace, the first freedom is health freedom. Next, you want to have testimonials, character references, and case studies. And I just did a coaching call with a group of my clients that I coached today. And one of the focuses that we had was Google reviews and how many new clients they were getting simply from Google by people reading their reviews. As what you do becomes more popular, as functional medicine, holistic healthcare, whatever type of service you offer becomes more popular, people in your area are looking for people who are able to offer that service, right? So as more books are written by Mark Hyman and Jeffrey Bland and all the amazing authors that are out there, it's going to raise the awareness of what you do as holistic practitioners. And so you've got to be available and easily searchable for people to be able to find you. Next, you have to have a lead generation strategy. How are you generating new interest, and how are you offering value to those people? Next, as a masterclass, a signature offer, which is in this case going to be your group program offer. Now, I'm going to share with you a model called a hybrid group program. And when you build out a hybrid group program model, which Practice Better allows you to facilitate the technical aspects of it, you have access to different levels of service that you can offer people, and it all stems from your signature offer. Next is a high value signature offer, and we refer to this as a one-on-one offering. You want to have online scheduling, which Practice Better allows you to do, an intake form, which Practice Better allows you to do. You want to have an updated social media profile. Social media, I want to share with all of you, is optional. It's a great way to get the message out there to the world, but you don't have to use social media to build your business, because many multi-million-dollar businesses have been built long before social media even existed. So don't feel pressure to use social media, but know it's available to you, and it's a free resource and a way to market yourself. You want to be able to nurture people. You want to have a CRM, which enables you to do this. And Practice Better has some of those features, and a payment collection method, which Practice Better also has as a way for people to pay you. So these are the essential assets that you need. Most of you should have most of these things, or maybe some of these things are a work in progress. I'm hoping that you're checking off most of the things that are listed here. Okay. Next, we're going to go, I'm just going to quickly scroll through this. This is a more comprehensive practice audit. So when you have more time, you can certainly go through this and make sure you're checking off as many of these boxes as you possibly can. Now let's go to, well, I'm going to give you this framework really quickly. So in our perfect practice framework, what we believe is that you want to attract your ideal clients, you want to create transformational results, and you want to create personal freedom. Those are the three things. When those three things come together, you've got your perfect practice. And I believe that hybrid group programs are done correctly, are a way for you to experience attracting the right people, creating transformation for them, and then creating that all five of those personal freedoms for yourself. That's why I'm so bullish on creating that. So let's go into this framework, the scale of service. This is very important. And one of the significances of this model is that once you learn this, you're going to start looking at your business through a different lens. You're going to start realizing that you can make a massive impact and help a lot of people with the knowledge that you already have. So part of our goal today is to unpack what you already know and turn it into, take the raw material that you already have, give it some structure, and increase its value. So the analogy I like to share is that if somebody came and dropped off a bunch of 2x4s on your driveway and you didn't have a plan with them, then eventually they would become garbage, right? Eventually they would start to warp, they would be exposed to the material, the elements, and you'd have to call somebody and remove them. But if you had a plan with that same raw material, if you had a structure that you could build because you had a plan to execute it, then you exponentially increase the value of raw material. So many of you have proverbial 2x4s in your heads and in your hearts that are raw material that you haven't created structure for. So they haven't realized their full potential value. So group programs allow you to do that, especially a hybrid group program. So many of you are probably familiar with the Pareto principle. The Pareto principle states that 20% of our effort creates 80% of our result. Okay, so it's called the 80-20 rule. And it's universal in economics, in the way rivers flow, in the way businesses work. It's a universal concept, okay? And sometimes it's 70-30, but it's usually pretty close to 80-20 when you average it out across the board. So what I want you to imagine is that this at the bottom here, this bottom part of this triangle represents 80% of the triangle. This represents 16%, and this represents 4%, okay? So that gives us 20% up here, divided further into 80 and 20, breaks it down to 4 and 16. Now, your one-on-one service is represented by the tip of this pyramid. Okay, so as busy as you might be, as successful as you might be, your one-on-one services roughly represents about 4% of what your potential impact is. And I would even argue even potentially even smaller than that. So it's great to build a one-on-one practice, but eventually you might want to spend more time with your kids. You might want to travel more. You might want to be more leveraged and actually help more people. Type in yes if you would like to help 50 people in an hour instead of helping one person in an hour. Okay, so that's kind of what this call is right now, right? There's a whole bunch of you on this call that are here live, and we're doing this as a group. We're doing this as a community, right? I could do this call individually with each of you, but then I'd have to get on 80 calls. It would take me maybe 2 to 3 weeks to even be able to facilitate that. But if I can condense that 2 to 3 weeks of work into 1 hour with you, right, or whatever time we spend together, then you can see how I'm instantaneously far more leveraged. So one-on-one time is what we call synchronous time, which means you have to be there and the client has to be there. Okay. Now, one-to-many, which is represented by this middle section here, this is going to be semi-synchronous. Okay. And I'll explain to you what that means. So semi-synchronous means that I have to be here for sure, like, because I'm doing the training, right? I'm hosting you, and the Practice Better team is hosting you. So we've got to be here. And you may or may not have to be here, right? You could watch the replay. Okay, so this is what we call semi-synchronous. And then 1 to infinity, which is the other section here, Okay, so it's kind of a slanted 8. So it's 80/infinity. This represents asynchronous, which means the people that watch the replay, that's asynchronous, right? They didn't have to be here. I had to create the content. We had to create the content collectively together, but they didn't have to be here. So the recording would represent asynchronous. Now, when you look at your business through this lens, you start to realize that there's a pattern. Like, what if you could create a business that combines all three of these, where there is a little bit of one-on-one, but it's not the biggest part of your business. There's one-to-many, okay, which is groups, and there's one-to-infinity, which is maybe pre-recorded trainings or homework that your clients can watch or videos that your clients can watch for education. I want you to write this down. One-on-one time is for transformation. One-on-one time is for transformation, not for information. Okay, here's where I want to deliver information. And here is where I want to deliver transformation. Okay, because I can answer questions. I could bust through objections. I can address challenges that somebody might have, right? And I could do that one-on-one, or I could do that in a small group or even a somewhat large group as well, if I know how to facilitate it correctly. So these are the different ways that you could offer your services. So a hybrid group program, which is what we're going to talk about today, offers all of these. The biggest objection that a lot of functional medicine and holistic practitioners have is they say, no, don't take away my one-on-one. So we keep a little bit of one-on-one in there for transformational conversations, not for information dumps. Okay. And in doing so, what happens is people feel like they get the one-on-one service that they need. Your schedule isn't completely jammed with all of those conversations that you could be having in a group, or conversations that you could be using technology like videos to pre-educate or educate people as they go through your process. Type in me if this is making sense to you. Okay, wonderful. So we like to focus on creating a hybrid program based on using the best of what technology has to offer, what human interaction has to offer, and what coaching has to offer. We don't just have to do one-to-many and that's it. That's where people get stuck. You really want to try to incorporate the best of all of these. And that's what we're going to talk about and we're going to teach you today. Okay. Now, next is I want you to learn this equation and really master this equation when you're designing your program, when you're sharing your program, and when you're offering your services. Even today, you could start using this value equation. This comes from Alex Hormozi. So the first thing is, does this person have a problem worth solving? Is a problem that you solve with your program and your services, is it a problem worth solving? Okay, so we never minimize the problem. We definitely want to make sure that this is something that this person wants to fix, that it's important for them, right? And that's obviously going to increase the value. The numbers on the top, we want to increase. The numbers on the bottom, we want to decrease, and that increases value. The next is it possible? And then really for me. And so what people need to know is it possible for them to actually fix this problem? And the way we demonstrate that is through testimonials and case studies. Okay. So testimonials and case studies of people who are just like them, having gone through this process, will increase the value of what you have to offer, right? If I had a bunch of case studies of people who've incorporated what I'm teaching you today, then that would increase the value of what I'm offering you today. And certainly I don't have time to go through all those case studies. You'll just have to trust me. Next is, how do we want to now increase value? So we increase, is this a problem worth solving? Can it be solved for you? Yes, because we have case studies and testimonials to prove it. And the next part of the equation we want to keep on the lower side, we want to lower this, and this is going to be time. Okay. How long is it going to take for me to see results? That doesn't mean the final result, right? It doesn't have to be, we're going to achieve the final result in 5 days, but within 5 days, you're going to be moving your health dramatically in the right direction? And how can I measure that? So I like to give my clients in all of my programs, whether they're one-on-one or whether they're in our hybrid group programs, I like to give them ways to measure their progress. Simple ways to measure progress could be measuring your blood pressure, measuring your weight. We use wearables in our practice. So measuring their resting heart rate or their sleep scores, that's all going to tell us if they're moving in the right direction. It doesn't mean that they've achieved the outcome, but they're moving in the right direction. So they're going to keep moving forward. Okay. So within days, our clients start to see a difference. You want to let them know that they're going to see results very quickly. Okay. Not the final result, but a result. And the last thing is sacrifice. Okay. So what do I have to sacrifice in order to create this outcome? We want to let them know that we're going to hold their hand through the process. We're going to make small, simple, strategic changes, and we're going to make sure that we answer all of their questions. So people need safety, they need to be supported, and they need to know that you're there to guide them through whatever challenges they come across as they're going through the program. Okay, so customer service is going to be an important part of how you add value for people. So you've got to satisfy all four of these when you're presenting your offer and even when you're creating your offer. Okay. You have to have the conviction that you can fix the problem. You have to have the conviction that this is a problem we're solving and get buy-in from your customer. You have to show them ways that progress is going to be measured and how quickly it's going to take place. And you have to let them know that you're going to help them make small strategic changes that that are going to be easy for them to implement and address any objections that they have about sacrifice. Okay. So this value equation, you want to burn this into your head. You might even want to print this out, write this down on a little Post-it note, because it's such a valuable little equation for you to be able to use. Okay, type in value if this is making sense to you. Okay, wonderful. So let's keep going. All right, one more framework. We're going to go down to page 19. So there's 4 levers that you can use in your business. And when you have any type of business, these 4 levers are going to make sense to you. Okay. We want to be, Archimedes said, give me a lever long enough and I'll move the earth. And we're all trying to move the earth. We're trying to move people's health in the right direction. So the shortest lever possible is people. Okay. So people are a great asset to your business, and we need people to help us run our business, right? Certainly we would not be able to run our business without humans. However, they're the shortest lever. Okay. Because they need time off, they need to take breaks, they need to eat lunch, right? They have holidays, they have challenges, they have emotions. So they're the shortest lever. Okay. Next lever is cash, right? So we can borrow money, but we always have to pay it back. And that could be a great lever to help us get started, get lift in our business, or perhaps to hire experts to help us or build our website or whatever the case may be. So that's another lever. Now, way down here towards the end of this lever, we have another lever, and that one is called media. Okay. So one of the things you want to start thinking about is how can I and clone myself? So my mentor, Joe Polish, always says, if you say the same thing over and over again, how can you and clone yourself? Because the reason you say the same thing over and over again, chances are it's because it's important. Chances are that the client needs to know what you say over and over again. Now, imagine if you could record a video or record an audio or write an article on your website or an email that perfectly explains this so you never have to explain it again. Okay, so if you talk about gluten all the time in your program, then how about you record a video that tells them what they need to know about gluten, the take-home message, right, the punchlines, so that you could record that in a 5-minute video. They can watch it, and guess what? They can go home and watch it with their family. Your clients, when they leave your office, have an obligation to their families to be able to go home and explain what they learned from you in order for them to be able to implement it. And if they can't go home and explain it to their family, then odds are it's going to be harder for them to implement, right? So if a woman comes to you and she's got to go home and explain why the family has to be gluten-free, she might have a hard time doing that. But if her husband watches a video that you created, then you're good to go, right? And these modules can all, and these trainings can all be embedded in Practice Better. And we're going to have the team at Practice Better sharing a little bit more about this and exactly how you could do that. The last lever is IP. So when you develop a group program, you're creating new intellectual property, right? So all of us, if we all created a hybrid group program, we would all have our own unique intellectual property. And that intellectual property is a lever. It's very valuable to your business because it's IP and it's a codification of your process. I think of a group program or a hybrid group program almost like a legacy project. If you could put all of your best material and content into one place, then it kind of serves as a vault of your knowledge. Okay, so that's why I love group programs, because of how they can be utilized. All right, now let's go. We're going to go way further down. We're going to go down to page 20. We're going to go down to my office setup. So I just want to draw your attention here. This is kind of what my office looks like. So I have my iPad, my screens, and I share exactly what resources I have. Everything that's on my desk is shared here with all the hyperlinks that you need. So you can always go and take a look at that. Okay. It's all there for you. Now I'm going to draw your attention to page 40. So we're going to scroll down to page 40. All right. And this is where we're going to start creating our hybrid group program. So I'm going to walk you through some of these exercises and I'm going to assign them to you, okay? Because my time obviously is limited today, and I want to make sure that you get to see how Practice Better can be of great service to you. So it's really simple. We have 7 steps. First, you want to solve a specific problem for a specific group of people in a specific way. Next, you want to map out your client journey. What's that going to look like? You want to map out your modules. We'll do that today. You want to craft your offer and your price. You want to create content around the problem you solve. You want to go through your program yourself, okay, and take a beta group with you, which would be step number 7. Okay, so these are the 7 steps that we've identified in launching and really creating and launching your hybrid group program. So a couple of paradigm shifts that we all need. One is that you are in the software industry, which means that you don't have to have your program fully fleshed out and fully completed in order for you to launch it. Okay. What I mean by that is, think about Apple. Apple is constantly updating its operating system. Every so often, you're going to get a message from your iPhone saying there's a new software update, right? We're in the software business. We can change our programs. We can modify them. We can add to them. We can subtract to them however we see fit. Nothing's written in stone, okay? Anything that's written on your computer can be edited. Anything that's on your website can be edited. And if you launch a program today and you decide next week you want to do something different, guess what? Next week when people sign up, they get that different thing. So don't feel like you're committed to delivering your program and there isn't any flexibility to it. Okay. Next is, you just have to be one step ahead, which means that I don't have to have all 12 of my modules done to launch a 12-week program. I can have the first module done and I can drip out the next module. So I just have to be just a few hours ahead of when those due dates are, right? So if I've got a module today, I've got to be ready for today. And if I've got a module a week from now, then I just have to be ready by next Thursday morning, right? Before I deliver it. So you just have to be one step ahead of your clients. But then guess what? In 12 weeks, if that's how long your program is, after 12 weeks, you'll have all the modules done. And people who come in, let's say you're 4 weeks into your program, people who come in and join at the top of the funnel or join the program when you're 4 weeks in with other people, guess what? They're going to have a smooth transition and be able to enjoy the benefits of the work that you've put in. So don't feel like you have to have it all done to get it launched, and don't feel like it has to be perfect to get it launched. Next, you want to surround yourself with people who have done it or are doing it. That's why I love that all of you are here with a clear objective to launch your group program. All right. Now, how can you action today's learnings? You could do nothing, right? You could do it yourself. You could do it in a mentorship with other people. You could license programs, or you could have companies like us even build it for you. So first exercise that I want all of you to do is, I want you to get a clear understanding of who you help, okay? And how you help people solve that problem. So the exercise is really simple, and you might not nail it down in this session, but I want you to use this frame of thinking. So I help, okay, people with whatever problem. So identify the problem that you help people with. Next is, how old are they? What's the age of these individuals? What do you help them solve? How do you help them solve it? By doing what? So they can what? Right? So nobody wants to lose weight. They want to fit into their favorite dress. Okay. Nobody wants, when somebody buys a drill, nobody wants a drill. They want a hole. Right. And really they don't want a hole. They want to hang a painting. And they don't want to hang a painting. They want to, the painting has something, emotion attached to it. Right. So they want to feel a certain way. So we really have to understand why we help people, right? What is it that they can do because of our help that they couldn't do before? And then the last part, which is important as a framework, is without. Without what? So my example here is I help frustrated men and women between the ages of 40 and 60 get to the root cause of their stubborn weight gain and help them lose 20 to 45 pounds in 6 weeks by naturally reducing inflammation, balancing their hormones, and unlocking their trapped energy so they can live more, play more, and love more. We do this without excessive supplements and exercise, starvation, calorie counting, fake food, overpriced lab testing, and unsustainable health practices. Okay, so it should be pretty clear what problem I solve, who I solve it for, why I help them solve that problem, and what are the things really, when this part here, this last line here, is the objections they have, right? They don't want to take a lot of pills. They don't want to starve themselves. They don't want to count calories. They don't want to eat fake food. They don't want to pay for expensive labs, and they don't want to do things that are unsustainable. Okay. And if this sounds just right for you, as Carla says, feel free to use that. Is this helpful? Type in yes if this is helpful for you. Okay, awesome. So your call to action is going to be to create that I help statement. Okay. And this becomes very informative in your marketing and messaging. Next exercise you can do is I want you to write down what are the things you say over and over and over again, right? So sit down with this worksheet, spend about 5 to 10 minutes, and write down what are the things you say over and over again, right? I talk about the importance of circadian rhythm over and over again. I talk about the importance of chewing your food over and over again. I talk about the importance of grounding over and over again. I talk about the importance of blue light and blue blocking over and over again. So what you can do is you can start writing down these different topics that you discuss constantly and consistently. And that starts to help you understand how you can start creating content for people who are in your programs. Okay, so that's the raw material. You already have the raw material. I refer to this as rolling a boulder down a hill. Okay. And the reason we're rolling that boulder down the hill is because you've already built the reps. You've already got the reps of explaining exactly what to do to somebody. So it becomes really easy for you to record it, right? You're not learning anything new. You're writing down the things that you're saying over and over again. So that's a quick exercise for all of you. Next thing you might want to consider is writing down what are the unique conversations that you have with people, right? Maybe it's reviewing their labs if that's part of your program. Maybe it's personal challenges or mindset shifts. Write down the things that you are unique to the conversations that you have. Okay. And what you'll find is that this split works out to about 80-20. So 80% of the time, you're probably repeating yourself. And 20% of the time, you're probably having unique conversations with somebody. Okay. So you'll see how that list balances out. So that's another part of the exercise I want you to do. Once you get really clear on who you want to help and how you want to help them, it's a good idea to map out your client journey. Okay. Journeys and maps give people clarity, and it allows them to see where they are in the process. Now, we won't get this done today, but I've given you mine as an example. So people find us through these different channels. They end up on a root cause assessment filling out a form. Then they go into a discovery call with us. Then if they say yes, we assign them a DNA test and a lab test for their food inflammation. We get their lab results back, and then we create a roadmap for longevity for them. And then we ship them their package, and then we coach them through the process. Okay, so that's what our longevity program looks like. Okay, we have a few different programs, so the maps might look a little bit different. You can create something like this in Canva, have some fun with it. Shouldn't take you more than half an hour. Draw it out on a piece of paper first, and then you can add all the cool graphics and stuff. Okay, so map out your client journey. This is another example for you. I wanted to, I'll share this with you, but it's getting a little bit ahead. This is what our clients receive in their package when they join our program. So we have a clear roadmap. Review your welcome email, order your Aura ring, read pages 1 through 38, schedule your appointment, get started, complete your journals daily, plug into the weekly Q&As. We have a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual plan for them. Okay, so now it becomes very clear that this is a very well-structured and organized system and process that this person is going to go through. When you have a clearly outlined process for people, it builds confidence. Okay, they get more certainty and clarity that you're going to be able to help them. So yours might look similar to this, but use this as a source of inspiration for you. Okay. Next, we're going to scroll down, and there's a bunch of questions that you can answer here. For the sake of time, we're not going to be able to do that today, but I want you to start thinking about your program. So just somebody type into the chat what program they're thinking of creating. Maybe it's a weight loss program, maybe it's a gut health program. Tell me what is the type of program you're trying to create. Just go ahead and type it into the chat. What problem do you solve for people? Okay. So I see a lot of gut health. I see some autoimmunity, menopause, gut health. All right, a lot of gut health warriors here. So let's just write down gut health here. Okay. Now, the next question we have is, man, now I've got to come up with my modules, right? I've got to come up with my curriculum. Like, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to educate people about in this program? So we now start thinking about, how does sleep affect gut health? How does nutrition affect gut health? How does sunlight affect gut health? How does meal timing affect gut health? How does supplementation affect gut health? Now we're just playing here. We're writing down things without judgment, right? So I might write in, how about probiotics and gut health? How about stress and gut health? Okay. How about relationships and gut health? Again, no judgment. We're just writing things down. Okay, how about mitochondria and gut health? How about vagal tone and gut health? How about toxins and gut health? How about hormones and gut health? How about peptides? All right, so you can just keep adding and adding and adding, and then you might decide, hey, I'm going to consolidate some of these things. Okay, so you might consolidate them into smaller groups, but what you're going to end up with is probably about a dozen things that tie back to gut health. Okay, so for those of you gut health people, you might want to take a screenshot of this, because I've already outlined your program for you. But here's the thing. I could take out gut health. Okay, so I could remove the gut health, and guess what? I could replace this with autoimmunity, couldn't I? Right? I could replace this with hormones. What you'll discover is the frameworks are very similar. Okay, so most of us are going to have very, very similar programs, but we're going to tie everything back to the problem that we're solving for this person. Okay, type in yes if this is making sense for you. Okay, wonderful. So I'm going pretty fast, and I recognize that because I want to make sure that we save enough time so you can see how Practice Better can help you here. Then you can go into Canva and you can create a graphic that looks like this, right? Or however you want to arrange it. So this is our Living Light metabolic program. And what we focus on is mitochondrial health, sleep, balancing blood sugar, affordable testing, circadian rhythm, balanced hormones, inflammation reduction, healthy weight, wearables, stress management, digestion, and breathing optimization. These are the modules of our program. So now every week I have to create a module that ties back to breathing and metabolic health, energy and metabolic health, how sleep affects metabolic health, blood sugar, what are the tests that I want to run, how does hormones affect this? Everything ties back to the problem that I solve. Okay. Now, with the advent of things like ChatGPT, it could be really quick for you to start creating these modules. Okay. If you have the right prompts, and that's a whole different training, but if you have all the right prompts, you can create your modules and programs pretty quickly. You can create them in a weekend if you know what you're doing. All right. Now there's different tiers that you can offer. I'll do this section and then I'm going to pass it back to the Practice Better team. So you can create different tiers. So we have 3 different tiers. One is do it with community. The next one is do it with a coach. And the next one is do it with a clinician. So the core program is the same. We have our private Facebook group. We have 10 weeks of life-changing training. We have weekly Q&As for life with our programs. They get a metabolic spray. They get the instruction manual, the scale, tape measure, daily accountability, reishi coffee and tea. They get daily messenger access. And that's part of our all of our programs. Okay, so whether they do it with the community or coach or with a clinician, everyone gets that. Now, if they go into our longevity program, this is where they start getting some more one-on-one access to us. Now, we do provide some one-on-one in our direct messenger access, so they get access to their coach via an app, and they can message them as many times as they need. But those people who need more support, they're going to go into our second tier program where they're going to get 4 one-on-one consultations. They're going to get an Aura ring because we're going to be able to coach them better and monitor them better. They're going to get a sleep kit. And those are the 3 things that they're going to get in addition. So they get more attention and more guidance. Okay. And then there's going to be a group of people that are going to go into our highest tier program, which is our legacy program. They get genomic testing, food inflammation testing, and they get additional consults to go over those labs as well. So our program is multi-tiered. So you can set up your program to be, offer different price points and different levels of service based on your clients and based on how your practice is set up. Okay. And there's something for everybody. And this is a little, you guys have this, so you can see that these are all the items that are potentially included in our programs. They're nicely laid out on our website. Now, if you're curious about how to create content for your program, there's a great website called Answer the Public, and you can type in whatever your topic is, and you can see here we typed in weight loss, and I can see the questions that people have all about weight loss. It creates a matrix like this for you for free, and then there's obviously a paid version that goes a little bit deeper. But now you get an understanding of how to market your program because these are the questions that people are typing into Google when it comes to weight loss or autoimmunity or gut health. So go to answerthepublic.com and check out that free service where you can put that all together. Okay. And like I said, you want to go through your program so you can document the result. These are my results going through my own program. I'm very data driven, so I like to collect information and share it. And then these are some very easy emails that you can write and social posts that you can write to launch your program as well. So just giving you a couple of examples here. Here's an email or some copy to promote a workshop that you can do. So those are in there for you as examples as well. So I covered a lot. I went really fast. Thank you for keeping up with me. And what I'd love to do is pass it back to my co-host and let her take it away and show you how Practice Better can help you bring a lot of what we talked about into reality.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sachin. I'm going to steal the screen share so that we can take a look into Practice Better. So Sachin did a really fantastic job of giving us a ton of information about how to create these hybrid programs and a really comprehensive offering for our community. So I'm going to give you kind of an overview of some of the ways that you can do that. So of course, our time is a little bit limited. Hopefully you can stick with me through this next 15 or so minutes. We might go just a slightly over the hour. But again, we're recording, so you will get a replay to your inbox. I just want to confirm that everyone can see my Practice Better screen. And then sounds good. Candace is saying yes. Okay, so let's take a look. We saw this really beautiful cadence that Sachin laid out of how we can start to create this really robust, comprehensive offering for our clients. Everything from a masterclass to a signature offer, pairing that with a signature program and creating this hybrid evergreen style program, a place to share the transformation and the information. So let's kind of take a look through some of these features. First and foremost, the feature that I want to really emphasize for you all here is our programs feature. So our programs and courses, this is where you can be housing things like master classes or webinars. So you got that kind of initial step that Sachin shared with us. You can also create your signature program here, and then you can pair it with your services. So if we're kind of following that timeline or that journey that Sachin laid out for us, let's kind of start with a masterclass. So I'll pull up an example here and show you. Within this feature, why I love it is because there's so many ways that you can use it. It's got a ton of different potential, and it really comes down to how you build it out. Seeing a comment, are there pre-built programs? Occasionally we do build them out for our community, and we'll share them with our users so that there's done-for-you solutions. And there are also the ability to create and share templates among your colleagues and your network. So keep that in mind for sure. But how, the final result when you're coming up with these programs really just depends on your setup. So we have 3 different styles: fixed date, great for a webinar or a masterclass; evergreen, this is going to be perfect for your hybrid solutions for your clients when you're pairing together that signature offer and signature program. And then you've got self-paced too. And these two are kind of interchangeable depending on how you want to stagger the release of content to your community. So starting with that masterclass here, we'll take a quick look at this. This is kind of a simple setup. So I can create this program here. You can see I've got my circadian reset workshop. Add my description here. Again, ChatGPT is such an amazing resource these days to like really expedite and get a great rough first draft that you can then tailor to your own messaging. You can set the date. So with a masterclass, I'm just making it over the span of 2 days. And that's going to allow me to host the masterclass live if that's my choosing, or share it recorded, up to you. And then I have a second day in there so that I have time to deliver any kind of bonuses and replay for my registrants as well. And you've got a few different kind of setup options here. Now you could choose to charge for this if you've linked with one of our payment processors. It's really simple and streamlined. Anyone who wants to register for this masterclass or webinar will have to pay upon signing up and registering for it, so long as you're registered with Practice Better Payments or Square. So you don't have to chase anybody down with invoices or patch together different systems. And you've got kind of some other basic setup features here. So once you've got that together, you can set up your modules. So you can see here that I could either host this live through the sessions option. So if my account is linked with Zoom, I can have a call very similar to what we're doing right now, where I get on live and present to a group of people, very efficient. As Sachin said, imagine if you had to do that with every individual who wanted that content from you. So your best way to leverage your time and reach as many people as possible. Alternatively, what you could do is pre-record it. So if you're more comfortable doing that behind the scenes and sharing the pre-recording, that's an option for you too. We've got this great ability to embed videos directly within programs, so people can watch it at their own leisure, at their own time, and come back to it whenever they need to. And you can see that I kept this really simple. The only thing in this particular content section of my module is this embedded video recording. So I'm going to go back here. Let's go back. I've got some action items. So just some things for the clients to focus on that we're talking about in regards to the circadian reset. Of course, your content might look totally different. This is just an example for the session here. So that kind of acts as like a to-do list, helps to prioritize focus, especially when clients are coming into this world for the first time and learning so much. It can be really hard for them to disseminate what to focus their time and attention towards. So I love that task feature to really help people focus on what the true priorities are and the key takeaways. We also have within Practice Better, when you're building out your programs and you're coming up with your new modules, you have the ability to template, but when I hit create new, you'll see that I can go with a content module. So this is where you have the ability to embed videos and add images, audio files, and a bunch of other engagement tools and resources. Or I can go email only. And email only is fantastic if it's just kind of something that you want to communicate and have it land in your client's inbox. So that's really going to work well for delivering that replay if I choose to do this live. So this will go straight to my registrant's inbox. They can watch that replay and be on their way. And then I've got one final resource, module, sharing bonus resources. So optional, but this is kind of the basic setup that I like to share for things like webinars or masterclasses if you intend to run that through Practice Better. We're going to stay with the exact same feature and kind of talk about that next step. So pairing together your signature program, and you've got all of this great information in this amazing workbook to help you put that together now, with your one-on-one sessions or group sessions, however you choose to structure it. So I've got lots of examples in here. Let's talk about maybe our 6 weeks to optimal digestion, since that seemed to be a really popular topic, gut health in general. So this is a little bit of a different setup, and that's what I mean in the sense of that depending on what your goal is with the program's feature, it just comes down to setup and you can achieve completely different things. So in this instance, I've come up with, however many content modules laid out per week. I have, the ability to do what's called Evergreen Programs in Practice Better, where the modules are released based on time elapsed, or you could choose to do a fixed date. Depends on, again, what your overall goals are. And then you can start to build these out. So tons of different ways to provide the information, as Sachin was saying. So in between those one-on-one sessions, this is where the clients can come to learn and come to take their time so that they don't feel like there's that information overload where they're not being able to absorb the information because it's so inundated in that one-on-one call when you're trying to rush through. So again, we can embed videos, you can record that. It's a really high personal touch point, especially when you're a virtual practitioner. Share all of the different information with your client. So you've got that content module to build that out. Beyond that, we have several different tabs at the top here with these content modules. So again, tasks, when you're wanting the client to have certain priority for certain things, key takeaways. Forms and worksheets. So this is your ability to attach any kind of custom form that you've built, again, inside Practice Better, directly to the module. So in this instance, you can see that I've got an assessment and a program check-in. So important to be checking in with your clients to be able to assess that progress. Sachin mentioned he's data-driven. We are too. We've given you tons of tools so that you can be too in your practice. And clients will be able to fill this out as well. And we're going to take a look at the client side of things as well, very quickly as well. And tripping over my words. Protocols. This is a fantastic place for you to house all of your dietary, lifestyle, supplement recommendations. This also links with online dispensaries like FullScript. So if you have certain supplements that you're recommending to your clients, there's a great opportunity to make it convenient for them, add even additional revenue into your own practice. So lots of ways to link these two things together and have it really beautifully formatted for your clients so that everything is housed in one place. And that is such a big thing and a big takeaway for client experience, is that your clients shouldn't feel the need to go searching through their inbox for this thing and through their downloads and logging into this platform to be able to talk to you and going all over the place just to try and help themselves. So everything is consolidated in one place. If your account is integrated with that Clean Life, which is nutrition planning software, you will also be able to add either recipe collections or meal plans directly to your programs. So that's another thing that is awesome, fairly new to Practice Better, that people are really loving, and we'll take a look at that shortly as well. So that is kind of the program build out. We've now kind of seen the masterclass and the evergreen using the same feature in Practice Better, but just different formats and going into depth a little bit differently. So this is maybe a little bit more of a robust build out, of course, thinking about what we're charging and what we're going to be offering for the client. Now going to my services, this is where in Practice Better, you're building out those individual appointment types that can be booked through Practice Better, facilitated through Practice Better, and you can even pair these together to form what we call packages. So this is where we can create some of these either one-on-one sessions or even group sessions that you can host, depending again on how you want to engage with your community and your clients. And then we can pair them together to make the booking and the tracking of those sessions really convenient for both the client and yourself. So Practice Better is very much for the practitioner and their clients. So let's take a look at this option here. You can see that I've got my 12-week Evergreen program with live coaching. So it will allow you to kind of come up with a name and the description of the package. You've got a bunch of different setup options here, but where I want to focus our attention is that you can add in your sessions, so the individual appointment types that you want to be offering as part of this package. So maybe I want to be offering one-on-one sessions too. I could certainly do that, and then say the number that I want to be adding. So 12 in this instance with a 12-week program. And I can ask my clients to book that first one at the time of purchase, save this. So now my clients have access to weekly calls and group program check-ins. And I can also add in the program that I created. So the programs that we just looked at, you can attach that and then link out to this one package. And when the client signs up and pays for this package, whether through that one lump sum or through a payment plan that you create, your client will be automatically enrolled into the program and ready to go. They'll be able to book in those one-on-one sessions and those group sessions with you as well. Note that you can also add additional programs. So you could even do something like creating an onboarding program to really support your client in terms of what they purchased, the timeline, the expectations. Sachin gave us some really great images that had been created in Canva, guiding people through the process and timeline of what it looked like to work together. So that's where you could kind of house some of that thing. So you can really start to think outside the box when it comes with the programs feature in terms of how you can use it to support your clients, support their health, but also support them figuring out how to use the tech and the software and all the different tools and things that they need to be focused on. So keep in mind, you can kind of double up and add more than one program even. So let's save that here. Once you have your package built, so you've now got kind of everything together, it's just as easy as going in and grabbing this link. So there's a few different ways to sign up for your clients. You can either manually do that, perhaps you're on a sales call, or you'd like to market this out through your social media or your email newsletter, things of that nature. You can absolutely do that by just grabbing this link. Your clients will be able to visit this link, view all the information about the program, take the sign-up steps, provide payment details, and get enrolled into your program. So really fantastic way for them to be kind of autonomous and sign up for themselves. I'm going to quickly show you here on the client side of things how this is laid out. Now, this is the desktop version, but keep in mind that clients can take this on the go through their phones with the Practice Better app or their iPads. So very convenient for the clients. And they'll have everything nicely laid out with the modules down the left, all the information in the content section down the middle, and then any additional kind of engagement tools and pieces that you've provided through the program on the right-hand side there. And they've got tons of different ways that they can engage with you. So whether that's through secure chat, through their journals, so they can log their movement, their sleep, their bowel movements, what they're consuming for food every single day. If they use a Fitbit or Apple Health, we have integrations with those where that detail will be automatically uploaded into their client journal. So you've got a ton of different ways to support the accountability and engagement and track things with your clients as well. I'll quickly show you too that if you choose to integrate with that Clean Life and include any kind of recipe collection or plan, the client will also have access to everything that you've included, and they'll be able to go through, see the recipes, the ingredients, the directions. So again, so key, but this is one place that your client is accessing all of this. And so this is kind of the thing I share every single time, but imagine the client is in the grocery store. They can pull this up, look exactly at the ingredients that they need, no excuse of forgetting that paper list at home. So we're all about just kind of streamlining things and convenience for the practitioner and the client. All right, so heading back here, I'm going to just back up a little bit and quickly show you in the last couple minutes here. I know we're just over the hour. I'm just about to wrap up. That there's a few more tools within these evergreen programs that's going to really help aid your success. And that is things like the analysis programs. Let me actually go back because I have better examples in a different program here. So this analysis section will help you kind of keep track of where your clients are at within the program. So yeah, keep in mind that you can always iterate what you're working on without having to start from scratch and practice better. So if you find that there's a particular module that people are getting stumped and they're kind of falling off from your program and they're no longer kind of proceeding through the information, maybe you need to revisit that and make it a little bit more digestible, a little bit more engaging, or add in an additional group session to help people through that. So lots of different ways that you can kind of assess how people are engaging with your program so that you have this data that you can put back into your business and apply it in a new way. You can also chat amongst group members or with your clients. So build that sense of community, have your clients share their wins and their challenges with each other, support each other through this behavioral change, which can be really hard for people. And broadcasts. Broadcasts are a way that you can message either in-app or by email. And it can be casual or it can be more thorough depending on whatever message you want. It could just be an out-of-office notification or letting them know that the next group session is coming and that they need to book in. But this is going to allow you to email as many people as are in your program at once, but it will still feel like a personalized individual message to the recipient. So they don't feel like they're just a part of this mass email or that if they reply, other people are going to see their responses. So that's really important too. So kind of a crash course. I'm going to drop a link in the chat for people who are new to Practice Better to continue to learn about it. This is our community space, and we have a ton of different ways that you can continue to learn about Practice Better, including everything that we spoke about today. This is available for users and non-users, and I'll share with you that within this community space, you have access to so many other practitioners. That's another thing Sachin said, is that the power of us like all being together in this room with these aligned interests and passions, it really does make a difference. And this is a great place to connect with other people. We also have courses in here. So Practice Better one-on-one and that Clean Life, where you can go through and really learn the setup and the optimization of these tools, and just a place to network, ask questions, ask things about workflows, attend other events, things of that nature. So I saw a comment about how they can continue to learn about Practice Better, and this is kind of the best option. All right, so I think, you know what? We are just over the hour. I don't want to steal any more of anyone's time, so I'm going to stop my share so Sachin and I can say thank you for all being here and send you all on your way this evening. Thank you so much, Sachin. We've done a couple of things together over the last few years, and every time I'm just wowed by your expertise and your amazing energy and how much value you bring to this community. So thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's an honor. And I absolutely love Practice Better. And I will yell about it and how amazing it is from the mountaintop. So keep doing the amazing work you guys are doing. And thank you, everyone, for so much love and gratitude for both myself and Practice Better. They are a very hardworking team, always receptive to your input and feedback. And I just love how far the platform has come. And how far it'll continue to go. And thanks for all the support that you provide for practitioners as well.
Thank you. All right. Well, have a great evening, everyone. We'll chat soon. Bye.
Bye.